Here we are. There we are.
Hey,
It's the Heretic. It's the Heretic Happy Hour. It's actually the Heresy After Hours. This is the After Hours party. This is Sunday.
It's after hours, but it's in the morning. That's
But it's in the morning. That's how after hours it is, man. We partied all night
after hours.
Saturday.
We're starting it at 11
at
a.m.
10 in the morning when everyone's
10
at
a.m. your
church. We're preventing people from going to church here. Actually, we might take it to church here. I'm not sure. Probably not.
I don't know. I doubt it. Not today. I don't think so. We'll see.
Not today. Not next week. Probably not the week after.
I'm not feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah. Not ever feeling it.
Church is not a place I want to be taken to, just so you know. So
I never asked to be taken to church.
No, I was, but I wasn't asked to be.
Yeah. So here we are. Judy. Hey, Care Bear. Doa deer, a female deer. Yeah. And there's my daughter back there. Say hi to her. Doa says hello from Idaho. Katie, one of Choir's upcoming authors. Good morning, you beautiful people. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, that's funny that you jumped in because we're going to talk about new releases coming out next year.
That's right. Judy says you guys need the soundboard to play the woohoo. Yeah, let's see. I probably don't got that on there anymore. No, this is my favorite one. I kept this one on here.
Who the hell cares? Oh my God! Who?
That one. So that one's for Keith. Anytime he talks about his books.
That's what that's for. Yes.
That one's just there. Lola. Hey Alexa, play "Take Me to Church" by Hosier. That's actually a good song.
That's a great song. There's actually, there's another song also called "Take Me to Church" by Sinead O'Connor, and I recommend that song as well. And the video is great.
Well, I don't know anything about that.
Not cover; it's a different song.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. All right. Well, what do you want to talk about today, folks? If you we have some things to talk about for show. But if you do want to comment on YouTube, we're also streaming on the old Facebook. Make sure you throw your comment up there. We'll get to it. If you have a question for us, if you have an observation, you want to shower some praise upon us. If you want to ask us how you can support us on Patreon, we'll tell you that. All you got to do is ask.
That's right.
That's right. Lola says, Lacey and I are making a deconstruction playlist on Spotify, and that's definitely included. Oh, right on.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea, actually. I could recommend some songs, by the way, Lola. Wow. Shoot me a message and remind me, and I'll send you some recommendations. You don't have to use them, of course, but
of course not.
But if I was making my own,
well, then why don't you just make your own?
Maybe I should. Maybe Heretic Happy Hour, you and I together should make a deconstruction playlist because there's a lot of really good deconstruction songs.
I think you're now taking their idea.
No, they can do it. They're going to do it. Just why can't we do one too? Everyone makes a top 10 list of the best movies of the year. That doesn't mean no one else can do it.
Yes, it does.
It's not a different list.
Only Roger and Ebert can do it.
No, that's not true. I just did my top 20. I think it was top 20 books, top 10, top 20 science fiction books I read this year, and I'm going to do later this month on my replicant report, my little sci-fi thing. I'm going to do the top sci-fi films of the last decade, according to me.
Nice, according to you. Care Bear says, I feel like that was a setup. So, hey, Matthew, how can we support you on Patreon? Yeah, you can support. I'm going to put the link right in there, patreon.com/choircast. That's the link. Click that link. And you can support the entire network, not just the Heretic Happy Hour, but all the shows, including Lacey and Lola's Deadly Faith. So go subscribe to Deadly Faith. That's a great show. If you like true crime, and who doesn't?
Oh,
True
yeah.
crime with a religious
faith
and
twist. Yeah,
culty
religious twist.
twist.
So Katie McCree says, "Do it, someone please do it." What do you do? What you mean the playlist?
I think the playlist. Yeah.
It's a good idea. I'm going to let them do theirs first, so they can go first.
Well, that's nice of you to let them do that. Okay.
Well, I think it's only fair, but it's a great idea, and I think then we should do one at some point. See, actually, next week that could be our show. You and I could share our playlists.
Okay.
I can't do it now because I can't off the top of my head.
Mine's just gonna be every Kendrick album.
Kendrick out. Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm not standing on him at all. That's that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I thought you thought we should get into like some stuff, but I want to first touch on the United Healthcare thing, the assassination, just because I just find the whole response to it fascinating. The cultural response, like the ethical response, the media's response. It's just really fascinating. That's where I'm at. Like, should I feel bad that I don't feel bad? I don't know. Because if I'm gonna clutch my pearls about this guy, I mean, what about all the people that healthcare companies harm? Millions of people suffer because of these companies. So my question is, like, why should I feel some kind of way because this guy got killed? Otherwise, I should be feeling some kind of way every day of my life.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, it's sort of like, what's the there's a Socrates quote along those lines. It's something like about how, I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but it's something like, well, similar to the quote, right? Don't become a monster to destroy a monster, right? Don't.
Yeah.
So I don't want to celebrate. On one level, I guess there's sort of different levels.
There's a lot of layers to this.
Yeah.
Right?
On one level, like when I see the guy's photograph and I see his face and I see that he was assassinated. I mean, I'm sad for his family, right? I don't know if he had kids. I think he had kids. It's like,
I think he had 2 kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's horrible. That's horrible to happen to anybody. Now, was he the CEO of a company that was doing predatory things? And yes, he was. It was horrible. But is murdering that person the solution to that problem? Like,
well,
I don't want to celebrate that.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
At the same time, I understand
the
catharsis of people feeling like, because again, we're the victims of systems that are toxic and that are abusive and exploitative. Yeah. And so when we are so powerless. So when we see one guy sort of like going beyond and doing something radical like this and it's not just that he assassinated this guy, it's a statement, right? You can't help but sort of touch on that collective feeling of being oppressed and feeling like, well, someone did something, right? It's similar, I would say, to like at 9/11 when the planes flew into the towers and the towers collapsed. Like, for people in Middle Eastern countries that had been brutalized and oppressed by the United States government for decades, when they saw that happen, they celebrated. Now, they weren't celebrating the individual deaths of human beings. They were celebrating the symbolic defeat of an empire that had dropped bombs on them and killed their children and brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers relentlessly for decades, right? So there is I think there's nuances to it, right? I would say I don't want to celebrate. I would say also similar, right? Osama bin Laden. When Osama bin Laden was killed, people were literally celebrating in the streets and partying and celebrating and happy and smiling in the United States. And again, you're celebrating the murder of some old guy, right? And did he do bad things? Yes, he did bad things. But again, he's a human being. And do we want to celebrate murder? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call that murder. I don't know, but I don't. Yeah, I got
in the middle of the night and shot him and his wife.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. I agree with you not to celebrate that. I think the larger questions are what's interesting. Like, obviously, I've written about societal catharsis and scapegoating
Yeah, yeah.
for many years,
Yes.
and so it's hard to. I mean, on the one hand, like sometimes your empathy meters just ran out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really. I can't force myself to feel actually bad. Like, otherwise, like, I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I think we say that a lot of times, like, and maybe I'm just heartless or something. Like, I didn't feel anything in my body when I watched the videos. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I know.
I found it curious that a larger, like, the cultural response to it, which was just fascinating. And Doa says, like, people cheering and being about revenge is awful. Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, but on the other hand, I mean, I get it. Like, we don't know the circumstances. I mean, of like when people feel hopeless, they do wild things. And in many instances, like people have lost family members because of these companies. And
Oh,
these
yeah.
companies have celebrated record profits every year. Should it take the assassination on the streets of Manhattan to have the conversation? Of course not. I think this whole thing is kind of an indictment on all of us, including our governments, because our government have perpetuated a system in which these for-profit healthcare companies can exploit the people. And then we wait until something like this happens to actually have like really loud conversation. Like my entire TikTok feed has no longer Kendrick. It's all this now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's at the forefront of a lot of people's conversation. And I wish it weren't that way. But
Yeah.
sometimes that is what, like, I mean, look at what happened the next day. Blue Cross decided not to do their evil plan of not paying for anesthesia if the surgery goes after the allotted time.
Hmm.
They were like, "Oh, we ain't doing that now. Oh, I wonder why." And it's
Right.
like, I wish it weren't the case because I've written many books about nonviolent resistance. And then when
Yeah.
violence happens and it actually makes effectual change, that's hard to
Yeah.
deal with because it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
argue with that because if we go, like, if we're like, let's send a letter to the politicians, let's do this. It doesn't go anywhere half the time. That's what people are fed up about.
Yeah, no, and I was about to respond, and December just posted a response. Well, sorry,
Oh,
we both
are we,
clicked at the
are we
same time.
clicking it at the same time?
Yeah, this is kind of what I was going to say. So December says it a little better. She says, "I think we can understand the why without condoning the what. Like a father killing his daughter's rapist, we understand why, and although it's a crime, we see it as acceptable." So yeah, exactly. Like I totally get why this person felt they need to do this. Um, again, the frustration, the powerlessness that
Yeah.
that so many people in America feel. But again, isn't a better solution to the extreme of like assassinating CEOs of companies. Isn't a better solution to be like, hey, maybe let's revisit this universal healthcare thing. Wouldn't it be, that's a better deal. Like, let's just let everybody have healthcare and have a better healthcare system. Now, if something like this horrible thing that happened ends up uh, uh, letting us have this conversation about universal healthcare, then okay, that's a good thing, I guess. But the act itself is still murder, right? It's still,
Yeah, like Lola
yeah,
said earlier, it's holding many truths at the same time. Like
yeah, exactly.
it's still murder. Um, that's true. Like it's funny because a lot of us have to like preface it. Oh, I don't condone violence. It's like, yeah, most of us don't even own guns. Like I don't own a gun.
Right.
Like it's almost been, it's like, and what one thing I do like about what has happened though is like even like someone like Ben Shapiro, his followers are trolling him because he doesn't get it. He needs to realize that this is a up and down, not a left and right thing.
Yeah.
Like this is a class thing, not a political thing. And so for him to get trolled by his own supporters because he doesn't seem to get it is kind of rich.
Yeah. So I found the quote I was looking for from Socrates. It's never right to do wrong or to requite wrong with wrong, or when we suffer evil to defend ourselves by doing evil in return. That's not exactly the one I was thinking of, but it's a similar quote. It's probably in the same passage. In other words, his point is that for us to do something that's evil, like we suffer ourselves for having done the evil thing, right? We think, oh, I'm doing this evil thing and that good will come out of it. But we have actually done a greater harm to ourselves by having allowed an evil thing to be done by us, right? We've allowed the evil to sort of take us over. Anyway.
Yeah,
I think
it's tough. This is very, the fact that we're having the conversation is good.
Sure. Yes, I agree.
We have, it's been long overdue to have these conversations more on a broad level. And a lot of people do, to be fair. Like, we've been having this debate, like, what's that meme? Like, universal health care is so difficult that every Western country except for us can figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, every country.
It's so difficult. Every country can figure it out. Right.
Except for one. Yeah.
That says it's very V for Vendetta move. Yeah, I thought about the French Revolution when I thought about that, like chopping people's heads off and the rich and powerful. Jim and Amanda say, revenge is never the answer. It breeds resentment, hate, and anger. Does murder solve any problems? No, the act itself doesn't. I think the messaging that went along with it has I don't know if it solved problems, but it's caused. I guess I now know what defend, deny, and depose means.
Yes.
The monopoly money in the backpack's wild.
That was wild. He might have had a plan for that he didn't end up getting to do. Like,
maybe.
maybe he's going to throw the monopoly money on the body or something, or who knows.
It's a wild story. Let's see, what does Lola have to say? Isn't it odd the way we reroute to kill mode? Maybe not as revenge all the time. Death has always been on the table for big problems, it seems, whether over land, resources. With greater issues with no easy solutions, we tend to reroute to killing. Yeah. Christopher says, evil does not beget good. It merely delays the emergence of larger evil if true evil exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, some argue that evil is the privation of good. I guess it's probably a conversation for another time. Jim and Amanda says, like he said, we can revisit whatever the issue is. Murder is a tumbleweed. And comments coming in left and right. John, what's up, John? The actual does not justify anything. It puts it in center stage. The act. Oh, the act. He meant to put the act. Yeah,
yeah.
I will say that it's hard. Like, when you have a dark sense of humor, though, like some of the jokes are like, oh my God, like people are. Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty cruel.
It's really cruel. Like, and yeah, it's just fascinating to me. I guess that's where I'm at currently. Like, it's fascinating. I don't know how to.
You should write a blog about it.
Maybe just so much has happened or happens every day that it's like sometimes you just feel like you're in the 12th round of a boxing match or something. And it's like, I don't know what is expected. Like, because tomorrow some crazy shit's going to happen. Like,
yes,
Syria's government collapse and Assad, right? Is that who it is? Plane got shot down, maybe allegedly. Who knows? Like,
I didn't hear that.
So you didn't know that? Oh,
no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the president of Syria flees, the government toppled, and now his plane crashed.
When did that? Just like yesterday, last night?
Yeah, like last night, I think.
Okay, wow, I haven't caught up on my news.
I know. See, you can't even keep up.
There's just too much crazy shit.
Lola, exactly. Desensitized. Like, it's too much. It's like,
yeah, you can't process.
We only have so much capacity to process all this information, and so much of it is heavy. And so maybe my advice, and I have kind of checked out on not on news, not totally, but like balanced it way back, and now I'm listening to more music again, and I'm trying to
doing a lot more reading, and I'm trying to stay off of social media, especially since that was part of my relieving the God Squad is that to do the God Squad twice a week for an hour each night, 2 hours, total a week. I had to spend hours, 10 hours a week, the rest of the days, following the news and keeping up with this and that, and and then writing responses and being prepared to, like, how am I going to react to this and respond to this, like, to stay informed. And so after a while, I did that for a year, and after a while, you start feeling like it's sucking your soul out, and it's like, I just need a pause for a minute, take a breath, return to sanity, and then only consume that stuff on a limited basis, because it's just it will really change you. You know what I mean? I didn't like the way it was changing me.
You got to know your own bandwidth. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of people have said what you just said. December has a good comment here. It's like the school shootings. I hate that every time there's a school shooting, I wish it would happen to one of these Republicans' kids' schools so they can experience what so many other
Yeah.
parents have experienced. We just had a school shooting here in Butte County.
And
Does
now it
anyone know
happens
about it?
so often,
Does
no
anyone
one
know?
knows
Does
about
anyone
it.
know about it?
No
Do you
one
know?
knows, 'cause
Do
it
you know
happens
that?
so often now it's not even worth
Yeah.
reporting.
It was at Feather River Adventist School in Palermo, California, which is like, I used to work in Oroville. It's like 5 minutes from Oroville. Yeah, guy killed himself, shot two kindergartners, and I don't even think it was a major national story that most people probably watching this would have even heard about. That's what's wild. Like, just a school shooting in America. It was not even national news.
Yeah.
Maybe one couple clips here and there.
Maybe locally in California, it probably made
Maybe.
some news, but nationally, yeah.
Nationally, maybe a quick story. December out in on the East Coast, hadn't heard about that, and that's so sad. These shootings are barely even news now. Exactly.
Yeah, there's too much other crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. And Lola coming in hot, hence the palate cleansers on Deadly Faith podcast. Hey, look at
There you go.
Marketing
Yeah.
whiz. Yeah, go check them out for sure. What's Care Bear have to say? It's like there has to be a certain body count before school shootings hit the news. Yeah, as I've heard,
Sadly.
at least the last I heard, both the kids were in ICU and stabilized, but I don't know.
Okay, so they didn't die, so that's good.
No, the only
yeah.
the only person who died was the shooter. I think took their own life.
And was the shooter another student, or?
No, it was like a middle-aged white dude.
As always.
If you could be surprised.
Yes. What? A middle-aged white guy, probably a Christian, went in and shot up some people?
It was at an Adventist school, so I don't know what
It might have been religiously motivated, right?
Could have been. They might be covering on Deadly Faith in a year or so. I don't know.
Who shoots little kids in kindergarten? I don't even like.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
It's sometimes the thoughts I have about this country are not positive a lot. Like when you really think it's hard to be proud to be an American.
I am not proud.
Fuck, no, I'm just it's
Not
just
for a long time.
I don't feel that way.
No, I'm
most
ashamed.
of the
I'm
time.
ashamed and embarrassed.
It's embarrassing sometimes. I mean,
Yeah,
most of the time it's embarrassing.
Our politics, our military actions, our foreign policies, our domestic policies when it comes to poverty, and even just like what we're talking about with healthcare, but also with like the homeless, mentally ill, with women, with gay rights, like so many things. We're going the wrong direction.
Yeah. I mean, how can we have a system in which people suffer because they don't have health care, but those same companies can make $16 to $30 billion of profit in a year?
Yes.
Billion with a fucking B.
Yes.
And we can't afford, a lot of people can't afford basic medications that they need to survive.
Yeah.
Like that, it's yeah.
Hey, there's Beth Brighton has a really great comment. It's long, but it's a good one.
Well, you like reading on air.
I'll read it. She says, we are seeing more and more discussion about societal issues that are coming closer to the surface as our world shifts and our first world issues divide more and more into classism. People have more reason to care less and feel like they matter less. You can only feel that kind of pain so long before you break emotionally, physically, psychologically. We need to brace for an increase in displays of unrest and community exhaustion. I'm afraid you're right. Every single thing you just said right there, I would say amen to.
It's exactly. It's 100%. We're both trying to. What is happening?
I'm trying to hide it.
I am too.
Right,
Come on. Who's producing this show? Keith Giles, the producer. Change your tagline.
I'm not
You're the producer.
No.
Producer Keith. How's production going on Second Cup?
Really
got
bad.
it all figured out.
Really bad. I'm hoping tomorrow.
1 star. Do not recommend.
I'm going live tomorrow, and I'm going to do my best to correct my mistakes, and hopefully the third time is the charm.
All right. Well, I'm going to watch and just laugh from the
Just
background. Say, yes, Care Bear America. I mean, on the one hand, the idea of America sounds great. I love my community. I love many of the people here. I've only lived here in America. I mean, it's again, it's a nuance and it's a balanced thing. But at the same time, when you've seen behind the curtain, you see how things work. It's
Yeah.
we're not as great as we think we are
And
in many
we're-
in many ways.
no one's about to make us great again with
Jesus
the way we're
Christ.
going. No.
Oh yeah, yeah. Make billionaires in charge, and that'll make it great again.
Sure.
Spend
Yeah, I wrote
$250 million to basically almost buy an election and stuff. For $250 million he spent, Elon Musk.
Yeah, I wrote a blog post about this, and you know what? Maybe I'll talk about this tomorrow on Second Cup. But I wrote a blog post about this a while back about the unrealized promises of America and Christianity. That America was founded on these really amazing promises that 200 years later we are still struggling to realize, right?
Yeah.
And so, this idea that all are created equal, that that every human being deserves the same kind of rights. Now, we know the founding fathers did not actually.
They didn't mean all.
No, they didn't mean all, but they put it in there.
So they're like Calvinists. All doesn't mean all.
No, well, but they didn't restrict all per se in the Constitution, right? So they
Right.
left us the promise that maybe that what would it look like if it was all right? What it was everyone, not just straight white male landowners, right?
Right.
Wealthy landowners. And so, we've been trying to move in that direction so that women could vote and that Black people could be free and people could marry who they wanted and all these kind of things. But then we're still struggling with those very simple, fundamental ideas that every human being is really equal, right? Everyone is created equal and deserves the same rights, these inalienable rights that every human being is.
I always come back to the Animal Farm quote. All the animals are equal and some are a little more equal.
That's exactly right. And that's he nailed it. George Orwell nailed it. But see, Christianity is the same way. Christianity is also founded on this promise that God so loved the world, not just Christians, not just Jews, not just certain people with the right religious beliefs, but God loves the world, right? And that every human being is worthy of love and forgiveness and redemption and mercy and grace. And Christianity was founded on that idea. At least Jesus was the one to float that out there. And 2,000 years later, Christianity is still struggling to realize that promise. So America and Christianity are still struggling to realize the promises of the inception of those ideals.
So in that way, I would say America is a Christian nation.
There you go. Yes. We're Christian in the sense that we have failed miserably.
We have failed miserably. Yeah. Well, make sure you comment down below if you disagree with us, agree with us. I don't even know what you would disagree with us about. We're not really given too many opinions yet.
No, I can't imagine.
You can have your opinion for sure. We have our opinion. Yeah. Let's shift gears a little bit and just
hard.
Let's take a hard turn. And what do we have coming up in the way of books? Because we're a publishing company, Choir Publishing.
Yes, we are.
We're going to be living in the dictatorship that is Project 2025,
Yes.
where books get banned, and where companies like us would probably, I'm sure they would like to not hear from too much.
Let's try to guess which choir book will get banned first, right?
Oh, let's go down. Okay, so go down the list of what we have coming out next year, and
let me finish out December, because this month we have like 3 more books coming out.
Okay. You give the shout out on the books, and I'll give them likely to get banned rating 1 through 10.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right. Next week, actually, this coming Tuesday, I'm very excited. Charlotte Dahlwood has a book coming out called Until at Dawn We Wake.
And it's about theology and gender and mental health. And she is trans, so it's definitely a 10 likely to get banned.
Likely, yes. But great book.
Great, yeah. Of course.
Really exciting. Really great
The
book.
higher the banning score, the better the book.
Right. Then on the 17th, the week after that, Brandon Andrus, who's one of our very prolific authors with choir, probably one of the most, probably one of the top 5 most prolific authors with choir. Brandon Andrus has a devotional book coming out called Deep Calls to Deep.
Yeah, I give that about a 6, 7, something like that.
Yeah. Then the week after that, the week of Christmas, Kevin Sweeney has a book called Everyday Mystic.
The Everyday Mystic. Yeah, I'd probably give that about a 6 or 7, maybe an 8. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then January. Here we are, 2025. Now, in 2025, we're shifting to only 2 books. Not a book every week, just 2 books a month.
Yeah. We'll see what
Just trying to make it a
happens.
little easier on our readers. That's a lot of books to put out to try and buy and read.
I'm
We
trying to
can't
make it
keep up
easier on
with
our production team.
and our production team as well. Yes. So only 2 books in January, but we're going to kick off January. I think it's the 14th. Danny Bryant. It's called Unless a Seed Falls to the Ground, and it's about the gospel of whiteness. So
that's
that
good.
one I would put
That's got a
high.
high rating. You got to put that up there, 8, 9, something like
Yeah,
that for
maybe 9 or
sure.
10. I mean, because
Maybe 10.
that's the thing they don't want you to talk about. You can't make white people feel bad.
You certainly won't want to. I mean, you fuck your feelings, but also we can't make white people feel bad.
Right.
Somehow we can talk out of both sides of our neck, right?
Right.
Doa Deer says, shouldn't we be thinking about how to take this stuff underground? I mean,
I would have to have a printing press in my garage.
I would. Yeah, we have third-party distribution and printing.
Yes, it's very
When I
difficult.
say production, I mean design. I don't mean out there printing
Yeah,
stuff.
we're not printing things ourselves. Yes, we have to use.
I mean, if you got any ideas, I don't know, pamphlets.
Well, the only way I can think of to do it underground, and this would still be difficult, would be to do it all online, where people could read these things online. But
Sure.
even then, the internet is so controlled now, right? It's not like it was in the beginning. Like in the old days, you could create websites, you could create networks that the government couldn't necessarily keep tabs on and stuff. But now it's like everything is consolidated.
I'm sure.
So sad to say. Then we have, and this one I think is high on the list, January 28th, Eric English. This will be his second book with choir. It's called The Kingdom of Man. And this is also dealing with fascism, Christian nationalism.
Ban it.
So,
ban it.
Yep, that's going to be banned. All right. In February, we have, I think they're still planning to do this. It's on my calendar anyway. Choir Classics is going to be doing the Unspoken Sermons by George MacDonald.
Yeah, it's pretty much done. We're just waiting on the forward, so we're getting there.
Okay. So who's doing the forward? Do you know?
I don't recall. Jeff Turner hooked us up with the guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but
it's there
we'll keep you
somewhere.
surprised for now. That'll be good. February the 4th.
I'll be surprised when I get it.
Yes. February the 11th. This is really cool. I'm really excited about this. This is a kind of a big win for us. If you don't know who he is, there's a guy named Jeremy Steele. He's on TikTok. He's huge on TikTok.
Well, until January 19th.
Well, until they pull the plug. Hopefully, he's also growing his Instagram account as well.
I hope so.
But yeah, so he has a book coming out called How to Not Suck as a Christian,
which is probably should be recommended reading for every Christian, right?
Yes. I think we're doing a deal, right, where he wants to do a thing where basically everyone buys 2 copies, or if you buy one, you get another
pre-order
copy.
thing. Yeah, if you buy a pre-order of the hardback, I think you get a paperback, but you have to leave it in a church and you have to take like a picture of it at the church.
Yeah, you have to go to a church locally, an evangelical church, and leave it somewhere and take a picture so that someone finds it and picks it up.
Yeah. He was like,
It's a good idea.
The design was simple, but he's like, I want it bright yellow. I was like,
yes,
I can do that.
So very hard to miss that laying on your.
It is hard to miss that. John asks, have you taken steps to find some kind of protection for choir?
Not yet.
No, I mean, I know that
you might leave the country.
Certain countries we'd have to dissolve the LLC in the US and we'd have to open it in another country. And we have
talked about that.
We have talked about that, and there's one country in particular that we are planning on having a plan.
Yes, you are.
I am.
Your family. My family will be trapped in the new Republic of Texas when it secedes in the Civil War.
Yeah. But at the same time, see, like, Yeah, I don't know about choir specifically, but I think it's like The Handmaid's Tale,
That's
where
what it
it's little
feels like.
little pockets
There'll be
of
little pockets of resistance. Yes. I'll
and
see if I
little
can get over the
and
border
pockets
to
that
New
yeah.
Mexico
There you go.
because it's still kind of a blue state.
Kind of.
Or at least Las
Maybe
Cruces is.
maybe you'll run into Walter White.
Yes, that would be wonderful. And then we also have a fiction book coming out. This is a science fiction book. Philip K. Dick's ex-wife, Tessa Dick. We're publishing a second edition to her book, The Darkening of the Night. So probably not going to be banned. There's nothing really political in that,
Okay.
but it's a good book.
Okay. So we got
Okay.
one that won't be banned. Good.
Okay, we'll publish one book next year so far.
So fun.
March, I'm very excited about this. This is really cool. It's called Christ Saves All. Stephen Howes, who is a documentary director, he directed it's free on YouTube. There's a documentary about universalism, Christian universalism, called Love. Was it Love Unrelenting?
Yeah, I believe so.
Unrelenting Love, something like that. He interviews everybody in that. It's amazing. And
He even interviewed me.
even you. That's right.
Didn't
But
make the
David Benioff
documentary,
and-
but
Yeah.
fucking interviewed me.
You made the bonus content, which is special. You're special.
Uh-huh. The B-roll. I ain't stupid. I know how that shit works.
It was so much he couldn't fit it all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know.
But anyway, he's
Mhm.
editing a book with some amazing different. So believe it or not, when it comes to universalism, I didn't know this, but Stephen, I guess, discovered this making the documentary and interviewing all these different universalists, Christian universalists. There are different varieties and flavors of universalism, and so this book will feature essays talking about all the different kinds of varieties of Christian universalism. Did Eric Rattan write the forward to that?
Eric Rattan wrote the forward. It
Yeah.
features one of my theological heroes, Tom Talbot,
Yeah,
now
That's
retired,
really-
of course.
yeah, that's really cool.
It's very
So
cool.
that'll be good. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
March 4th. And then everybody, drum roll, the one you're all waiting for, March 18th, Reading Romans Right by Matthew DiStefano and Keith Giles. First in what we hope is a long-running
in that order.
series. Yes. And a long-running series, Reading
Hope
Romans
so.
Right. Very excited about that one. Brandon Robertson's writing the forward to that. And you're almost done with it, right? As far as Eternal Designs?
I am designing it. Yeah, I'm getting there. You know,
Cover's already done.
the cover's done.
Yeah. The
Should
writing
we
part is done.
would I be able to share that?
I don't know. Can you? Can you share screen? You should.
Yeah. I could share the cover
I
today.
mean, most of these things we've talked about, we have covers for.
Why don't I do that? Let me download that real quick. You tell them what's next, and I'll download
Okay.
this.
In April, this one is hard to pronounce.
ain't gonna
Ryan
give it
Remington,
time.
who's been a friend of ours for a long time. Ryan Remington, his first book, as far as I know, that he's ever done, but first one with choir for sure. And it's called Pilakiyanqui, A People's History of Suffering. It's about Native American, his experience sort of as a white guy in America, really discovering the horrors of the ways that Native Americans have been oppressed in this country and trying to tell the story from their perspective. So
Yeah.
that's a good
Cool.
one. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. All right. You ready for the cover reveal?
Let's do it. This is for Reading Romans Right. Here we go.
Reading Romans wrong.
There
Ba-ding.
it is. Reading Romans Right, baby.
It's pretty nice.
I think it's cool. Yeah, came out good.
Looks cool.
So be on the lookout for that in March.
Yeah. There you go.
And then we have also April 29th. Our second book in April will be.
Dennis asked, hold on.
Sorry, I
Dennis
never-
asked, is Reading Romans Right
Oh, that's
likely
right.
to be banned?
We didn't say that.
Definitely. Yeah, we're
Oh, we're
arguing
going
for
after
a
them.
unit. Huh?
We're going after, this is their Christian nationalists, like without Romans, we take that away from them. What do they got?
Yeah. We take away the god of wrath, the god of homophobia, and it's basically two queers and a straight, me and Brandon and Keith. So
Yes.
definitely gonna be banned. Give that about an 8 or a 9.
That's right. Oh, okay. Ryan Remington's book, I think, also has a chance of being banned because, again, it's the kind of history that we're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, and John's asking you to spell it out.
Oh, it's P-E-E. He calls it the P book.
That's
P-E-E
easier.
L-A-K-I-I, 2 I's, Y-A-N-K-W-I.
There you go.
Yes. Anyway, so then Katie McCreet has a fiction book also April 29th called Epilogue. And Katie McCready is great. She's someone who's actually written
She was here
a
earlier.
lot of books. Sorry?
She was here earlier. I saw her in
She
the
was Katie.
comments.
Yeah, she's still here, but Katie was here earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's written a ton of books. In fact, I think she wrote some books that were kind of when she was still an evangelical, or at least it was for the evangelical space. She's talked to me a lot about the things she wasn't allowed to put in her books by her evangelical publishers. Of course, we've told her,
Ooh, causing
do
trouble.
whatever you want. So, yeah, it's going to be good. That's a good one. And then May, I don't have dates for these. So as we're getting into May, these are loose as far as like they are likely to come out in these months, but things could shift. Oh, there's Katie. She's still here.
Still lurking in the background. There she is.
Okay. Totally
No,
unrelated
I
comment.
haven't actually seen Ted Lasso, Chris.
Oh, dude, it's so good. You got to watch
I
it.
don't have Apple TV.
It's, you know what? I got Apple TV just to watch Ted Lasso.
You got just the free preview
No,
and then
no, I buy it.
Oh.
I actually do it. I have Netflix and Apple TV. It's all I pay for. And Apple TV also has Slow Horses, which is fantastic. Severance, which is amazing. And season 2 starts next month in just a few weeks, actually. Silo, which is the second season is going on now. What else? They've got a lot of great stuff. Oh, Lessons of Chemistry, another great show. And dude, it's worth it. Ted Lasso. Totally do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back to our list. In May, Choir Classics is doing this is personally for me. This is kind of my vanity thing. I'm super excited about this. There's a book called We by a Russian author named Zemyatin. I think it's Yevgeny Zemyatin. And in the 1920s, he wrote a book that is what inspired Orwell to write 1984 and what inspired Huxley to write Brave New World. So it's really the first kind of dystopian
banned,
big time banned. Well, the thing is, it was banned in Russia when he wrote it. So it's
not surprised. I didn't know, and maybe I'm fucking up the titles because we've done a bunch of choir classics. Was it Tolstoy that was published in German first? Because it.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the Kingdom of God's Within You.
Yeah, which country? Like the country first published? I think it was German
or something.
Because it couldn't be published in Russian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's actually one of our better selling classics too.
Yeah, except the Spring Harvest, which is selling like hotcakes right now. I don't understand how.
What?
Every day it sells like 5 copies. This obscure poetry book that I wrote the foreword to and has a preface by Tolkien.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't know.
I'm not complaining. That's great.
I ain't complaining.
And we also had planned to do choir classics of Metamorphosis, Kafka's Metamorphosis with
Kafka. It's very Kafka-esque.
Was going to write that.
Yeah.
So one of those in May, probably not both of them. And then we are working on this one. This is still in progress. So one of those books where we have a variety of people contributing chapters on a certain topic, right? Like we did like Sitting in the Shade of Another Tree, which was great. I love that one. Or Before You Lose Your Mind, or Parenting Deconstructed. We've done a lot of these kind of books. Who is Jesus to You was the one we did.
Quién es Jesús a tú?
Yeah, that book was really great. If you haven't read Who is Jesus to You, it's really great. So this one is going to be called, and again, tentative title, The Unchristian Truth About White Christian Nationalism. So this will be, what we try to do also is get contributors who have the most to lose, who have the most at risk as Project 2025 starts unfolding and getting implemented. And Lisa Sharon Harper is going to be writing the foreword to that. And we have some amazing contributors to that. So that one's still in process. Hopefully that, fingers crossed, that one comes out in May. High probability of being.
And then gets immediately banned.
Immediately banned, yes.
Immediately.
Now this one is also in process. I'm writing it as we're speaking here, almost literally. This is the follow-up to my Quantum Sayings of Jesus book on the Gospel of Thomas. This one's the Quantum Sayings of Mary and the Lost Gospel of Truth. So I'm going to combine my commentary on the Gospel of Truth and also the Gospel of Mary in one volume.
You're gonna go from the Jesus unguy to the Gnostic guy,
or the Quantum Sayings guy.
The Quantum Sayings guy. John asks a good question. What about that concept of a show we discussed last week for you two? Hey,
Oh
man.
yeah, I forgot all about that. It's been
I didn't. I got it. I mean, put it on the stack. I
it's on
eventually
the
when
list.
it's on the list. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the idea to do
Someday.
like a parody show, that would be great. So a
Mhm.
couple others, we have, these I don't even so now we're getting into foggy territory here in June.
Well,
We have a new
let's
author, Jackson Phoenix, he has a book called Only Us, which is about, connection and oneness and stuff. I'm not sure what else I can talk about. Oh, I do need to talk about this one because I'm really excited about this one. This is a fiction book, but it has a high probability of being banned. David Agronoff is a science fiction writer. We published his book People's Park this year, but this book is called Great America and Dead World. I read this book. He sent me the first draft of it. I read it and immediately I was like, we have to publish this book. So it's a science fiction book. I will not give away really. Trust me, I'm not giving away anything. But the setting, it's about an alternate reality where Trump wins but stays president, and he's sort of the emperor, and sort of like what happens next. And
so
it's a horror
so it's not an
sci-fi.
alternate reality though. It's like
Well, but it's there's aspects to
it's
it
a current
that
reality.
are taking, especially when we're talking about healthcare.
Yeah.
This deals a lot with what healthcare turns into in the future and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
very excited about that book, and I think there's a high probability of that one being banned. And I think that's probably all we can talk about because at this point we don't have contracts or manuscripts from these people.
We have concepts of a
But I have
manuscript.
people that we're talking to who have said that they are going to be finishing their books and sending them to us. We just don't have them in our hands, so probably cannot talk about those. But that's good. I think that's a good enough.
Yeah. But we do have one other announcement, which is really exciting.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Which will definitely get us banned.
Yes,
Sure
I'll let
thing.
you talk about that. What is that?
Yeah, it's the chorus. QUORUS. You notice the theme here with all of our brandings?
Yes.
The
they're all
chorus
cute.
is they're all QE. QAnon. Yeah, the chorus is
Not that
going
cute.
not that Q. Different Q. Different Q source. The chorus is going to be an online like news and information center. It's going to be it's going to be a resource for people to engage their local school boards, their local city
Representatives.
council representatives, senators.
Yep.
There's going to be business directories that you could search by. Eventually, you could search by Black owned. You could search by queer owned businesses. You could see which businesses support Project 2025 and extreme fascism and things like that.
Yes.
There will be a news and commentary. Like it's going to be like an online newspaper sort of thing, and the contributors we're bringing on, hopefully, and we have some interest so far for some pretty big names.
Yeah, we can't name names yet, but let's just say the goal is to have 4, at least to launch it, 3 or 4 bigger name sort of content creators on YouTube who are doing a really great job of like 3 or 4 times a day publishing really great, informative, kind of what's happening in our world. We'll be publishing so the video content will still remain on YouTube, but what the course will do is we will write articles based on those and we'll link back to those videos. The idea of it is that it'll be like a central hub, and there'll be an email as well. You can subscribe to like an email newsletter as well, so that it's hard to keep up with what's happening. We started off talking about how so many things are happening all the time. That you can get an email update like once a day or once a week or something like that, or a website you can go to and just kind of check the headlines, like what's happening, and get sort of a summary of what's going on right now in the world. And then hopefully also, like this is kind of built into it, it's like, how can we be a part of the resistance for the next 4 years? And this website is intended to be sort of a hub people can go to for those kinds of resources.
Yeah, I'll be writing essays on historical movements that have fought.
That would be good. I got some things to add to that.
Yeah, I'll be doing like historical spotlights on women, queer folks, Black folks who have resisted, how they did it, kind of who they were, and
Yeah.
what their motivation was, and what their story was. And yeah, we'll be bringing on obviously people of color, gender, sexual minority groups, to be contributors. We'll
Yes.
hopefully be partnering with podcasts, YouTube channels, things like that. And we do have our first interview with a web team. So hopefully we get this going pretty soon, because the interest from some folks who have some pretty large followings is there. So we just got to build it out.
That's the promising thing.
yeah.
Like, we wouldn't even be seriously considering this, except that when we floated the idea to a couple of people who again have these larger followings, we've had more than one meeting, and they're continually interested. And we're discussing how to roll this out. What would it look like? Now it will be a subscription model, so some of it will be free resources, but some of the content will be a low subscription, like $3-5 a month. And again, that's just so we can keep this thing going, because it costs money to maintain a website. We're gonna have to pay a web designer and a web master to kind of like update these kind of things all the time. And we also want to compensate the contributors. This is sort of their reason to jump in on this with us, that there will be some compensation for this for them as well. So
Yeah.
it will
the good
cost
news
a
is
little
that
bit.
it's not going to look like some sites where there's ads.
No, that's the other thing. We don't want it to be like
not gonna be
tons
ads.
of ads.
No, probably not, hardly any, if any at all.
If there are ads, they might be ads for choir books.
Maybe.
That's about all I can think of.
That's about it.
We'll do ads for ourselves. Maybe the God Squad
Yeah,
podcast,
sure.
Heretic Happy Hour.
Exactly.
But that's about
And
it.
Deadly Faith.
And Deadly Faith, of course.
There you go.
'Cause you need
Yeah,
a
so
palate
that's we got some exciting stuff going on, and we'll
And I should
update.
also, before we say, because we're getting near the end here, we also next year, we have already launched Choir Academy.
We have.
But excited, like we think next year is where we're going to hope to see Choir Academy growing. So we have our first Choir Academy course starting next week. That's Seth Showalter's course on surviving Christianity. Go to choiracademy.com and check that out. We also are doing, I'm going to be doing one with Angie Von Slaughter in January. That's for creatives and artists. We do like a live Wednesday night 1 hour Zoom call with artists of all kinds. And we're going to have like prompts and ideas and things to inspire you and sort of create, inspire your creativity. Little assignments, things you can do, and doing some show and tell as well every week. So that'll be fun. And then we have other things in the pipeline as well coming up. So very excited about Choir Academy. If you haven't signed up already, I think you can go there and sign up to Choir Academy and kind of subscribe for updates and things, and stay on top of what we're doing.
That's right. So we got exciting things, trying to make a difference. Trying to
Doing
make
our
a
best.
difference. Well, most of the time.
Under the new regime. And then we'll see what else happens, right? Because again, Matt and I also have our own little personal things we're doing. Believe it or not, in addition to all that with choir, we are also trying to ourselves be authors and bloggers and content creators. So we have our own little ideas about the ways we're going to creatively resist as well.
Yeah. So everyone go check out. I put the link down there for Seth's course. Go check that out. Go to choiracademy.com. See if any of those courses sound interesting to you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on Tuesday for our best of. One of our best ofs, right?
Yeah. Is that Rob Bell this week?
I think we do got Rob Bell, old Bobby Bell.
And on Monday, Second Cup with Keith. Keith is live. What time? 10 a.m.
on this YouTube channel.
Oh, you know what? Tomorrow might not be. It might be in the afternoon. I have to change the time tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment.
Oh, boy.
So actually, tomorrow will probably be afternoon for Second Cup.
All right.
Slight change.
Well, there you go. You have an afternoon cup. Maybe it's decaf if you need. If you're having an afternoon
I'm
cup.
already on decaf, dude, because my blood pressure. So.
Oh yeah, I've been on decaf for years.
Yeah. It hasn't bothered me.
All right.
Though.
I'm gonna go throw up some Christmas lights now. How's that sound?
I'm sorry.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, we're not doing it this year. We're not putting the lights up this year. No tree, no lights. Sorry.
No tree, no lights.
Not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. We're not feeling it.
Oh. Well, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yes.
Rob Bell.
Rob Bell, can you believe it? We got him like 3 years ago.
We got him. We got them like 3 years ago, and we're bringing them back.
We're
Yeah.
bringing it back.
Yeah. Well, thanks for
You're-
listening, everyone. Make sure you rate and review this show. It is a podcast. If you're listening on the podcast, rate and review. If you're live with us right today, you can go rate and review. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And yes, if you want to support us, again, it is patreon.com/choircast. And yeah, we need all the support we could get. Really.
Yes.
We
do.
We do. Right there's the link popped up on the screen. Click that. $2, $5, $10 a month. It's super helpful. John, thank you. Judy, thank you. Beth, Doa Deer, Dennis, everyone else that I didn't just name
Katie.
by name.
Katie
Katie,
McCree.
yes.
Lola.
Excited for your book. Lola, everyone else. Love y'all. We'll see you next time.
Oh, real quick, Marilyn McCree asks what time and where we're talking about Bell. That's tomorrow on the podcast. So just if you're subscribed to the Heretic Happy Hour podcast, tomorrow's episode will be Rob Bell.
I'd like to correct that and say that it's Tuesday's episode.
What did I say?
Tomorrow.
Okay, no, sorry, Tuesday.
Old man Giles.
There you go.